LU factorization. So the essence of LU factorization is to decompose a matrix A into two other matrices, a lower triangular matrix and an upper triangular matrix. For instance, we are given a matrix A like this, and we usually start by letting U becomes A and letting R becomes an identity matrix of the same size as A. And the entries of the identity matrix or the lower triangular matrix will be Lij equals Uij over Ujj. Okay. Now, what we need to do now is to follow what we call row reduction approach. So we're going to reduce U to an upper triangular matrix. And the first thing we need to do is to find an expression for that row reduction. You will recall that we need to turn everything below the main diagonal to 0. So that means these numbers has to be 0, and this one as well has to be 0, so that U can become an upper triangular matrix. And this entry, the first entry here is U21. So we need to turn that to 0. So we'll find an expression, row 2. That will be odd row 2 minus a certain multiplier, L21, row 1. So we are going to use row 1 to reduce row 2. Now, what's our L21? L21 by this expression will be U21 over U11, sorry. So that gives us minus 1 over 3. And for this guy in row 3, which is U31, we're going to have a similar expression. Row 3, the new row 3 will be the old row 3 minus L31, row 1. And our L31 will be U31 over U11. That will be 2 over 3. So we fill up our L matrix with those numbers. L21 is minus 1 over 3, and L31 is 2 over 3. Okay, so the next thing is we turn those U21 and U31 to 0, and that will lead us to U. So that the first one will be automatically will be 0. That will be minus 1 minus 1 over 3, 3. That is 0. The second entry, which is minus 5, that will be minus 5 minus 1 over 3. The corresponding entry in row 1, that will give us minus 13 over 3. And the third entry will be 1 minus 1 over 3, row 3, corresponding row 1, that will be 1. So for row 3, this is on row 2. Let's put it row 2. We have for this on row 3. We're going to have the first entry there, that is 2, minus the multiplier, 2 over 3, row 1, that is 0. The second entry is minus 2, minus the multiplier, 2 over 3, 2. That will give us minus 10 over 3. The third entry, that will be 0, minus the multiplier, 2 over 3. The corresponding entry, that will be 0. So now we have our U. U equals 320, 0 minus 13 over 3, 1, 0 minus 10 over 3, 0. So don't forget that U is not yet an upper triangular matrix, so we still need to turn this entry to 0. And that entry is on row 3. So what do? We need an expression for row 3 again. Row 3, the new row 3 will be old row 3 minus, since this guy is on U32, so we need a multiplier L32, then row 2. So if you pay attention to the subscript, L32, 3, 2. So now what's our L32? Our L32 will be U32 over U22. And that will be U32 is minus 10 over 3. U22 is minus 13 over 3. That gives us 10 over 13. So remember, we're going to put this in our L matrix, 10 over 13. 10 over 13. That's a kind of record keeping. All right, so now our row 3 now, again, what does it look like? So that gives us the first entry there, 0. That will remain 0. So the second entry, that will be minus 10 over 3 minus our multiplier, which is 10 over 13 times row 2 minus 13 over 3. That will give us 0. The last entry is 0 minus multiplier over 13 times the corresponding row 2. That is minus, that will be minus 10 over 13. So now we have a complete factors. So finally, therefore, our U matrix is now 3, 2, 0, 0 minus 13 over 3, 1, 0, 0 minus 10 over 13. And our L matrix is now a lower triangular matrix, and that gives us 1, 0, 0 minus 1 over 3, 1, 2 over 3, 10 over 13, 1. So these are the factors. These are what we call LU factors. LU factors.